Oh man, what's been going on, guys? I know it's been a while since you've heard my voice on Eat the Right Thing, and I want to apologize for the long absence in between episodes. This has been a really interesting first quarter for 2018. This particular flu season was extremely difficult for me personally, and also very difficult for some of my guests. Trying to get them scheduled for interviews has been difficult. A lot of people were sick earlier this year, and it kind of threw off our production schedule. And I personally was sick. I was hospitalized for 4 days with the flu and pneumonia. And so it has been really, really difficult from that point of view. Not alone extremely difficult logistically. We're based in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and the weather this particular winter has been tough. So needless to say, the first quarter of 2018 has been difficult, but we are still here. And I wanted to just take this episode to bring you guys up to speed on everything that's been going on with me, but more importantly, introduce you to who I am. I feel like you may have just listened to this show and it is just like a voice in the ether, and you have no idea who I am as an individual, who I am as a person, and a little bit about me to make you want to listen more to the actual show itself. So what is most important and what I think you need to understand is I've been battling with my weight my entire life. And I know it's kind of like, your entire life, how is that possible? Well, I'm 35. I'm a black man, and I've literally been dealing with being overweight, the self-esteem issues of being overweight, and emotionally eating since before I can remember. I think the earliest memory I have of actually acknowledging my weight and being cognizant of it was in the second grade. And I remember just being in a classroom, and it was like this type of scale thing that you're supposed to step on, and they type of measure you. And out of all the kids in the class at the time, I weighed the most. And I looked at myself, and I didn't think that I looked fat. I didn't think that I looked bigger compared to the other kids. But when I would look at their weights and their measurements, I knew I was big. And that was, in my memory, one of the first times that I became self-conscious about my body image and my size. And over the years, I've developed coping mechanisms to deal with stress and depression, and that's something that I feel like everyone in the world deals with stress. I mean, it's obvious. Life is stress. It's just part of the foundation, the makeup of being human. And as I've gotten older, I've realized that more and more people deal with depression on some shape, form, or fashion. And usually most people have healthy outlets for it. Not most people, but a healthy person would have a healthy outlet for their stress, whether they go to the gym or they run 5 miles or they whatever have you, they volunteer or something along the lines. And then there's people who gravitate toward the extremely negative side of things to handle their stress. So these are the type of people who are resorting to drugs, dangerous activities, those type of things for them to cope with their stress. And then there's some people who kind of they're just in the middle-ish, and they just eat their feelings away. And I am definitely one of those people. And after the 4 days in the hospital and just missing production dates and not being able to coordinate things properly, here at Eat the Right Thing and Spaces Productions, we are an independently run media company, and it is headed by myself, my wife, and one of my best buddies. And we work tirelessly across the board to bring you as many different shows and to give you these type of experiences and just to tell these type of stories. So sometimes it's difficult for us, and the stress of the network, the stress of not being able to meet my production schedule, the stress of being hospitalized, and now I know I'm going to have to face quite a large bill. after insurance does what it does to it, it's still like I'm grateful to be alive, but healthcare and your health is a major concern for people who are, not super affluent. So I've been stress eating a lot, and it embarrassed me. I didn't want to get on this podcast and talk about how I'm pursuing a healthier journey when I know that I've gone through a drive-through window more times than I should have. But I'm here right now, and I am trying to move forward. And I just want to talk about, like, what do you do when you fall down? What do you do when you fall down and you don't make your goals? And one of the things that I've learned through my 35 years of living is there is nothing wrong with failing. There's nothing wrong with falling down. There's nothing wrong with coming short of your goals. That's just part of life. That's just part of nature. That's just part of the journey. If every time you step toward an obstacle and you overcame it immediately, you would not know challenge. You would not know growth. You would not understand how things are done. Failure is part of the process. It's part of the growing process. The problem with me and failure, and it's something that I battle with, is how long does it take you to bounce back from that failure? And that's something I've struggled with for a long time in my life, is just when you get knocked down, how long does it take you to get back up? And some people can just hop back up. They're right back in the round before the ref counts to 10. They're ready to keep fighting for, the next couple rounds. And some people never get up. Some people, one failure was all it took, and then they just stayed down. And the years go by and they just stayed where they were because they believed that they weren't good enough to pursue any longer. And on this journey to eating right and to changing my body, and this is by far one of the most important, most painful, most difficult journeys I will go on personally, because my happiness is attached to food. And I know that's extremely crazy to say, but it directly affects my happiness. If I'm sad or feeling awful, or if I'm excited and feeling great, the same thing that picks me up when I'm down is the same thing that picks me up when I'm high. And I love it. And I know it's not great for me. And I know it's a coping mechanism. And I know that there's larger things in my life. But when you're battling your biggest enemy, your biggest obstacle, the food around you and how it affects you mentally, I'm not above saying that there is a form of addiction there. Not even just because of the chemical aspects of the sugar and the dopamines that get released from that. It is the literal emotional, mental sensations that fire off when I'm having a shitty day and I bite into a French fry, I drink a milkshake, I eat a pizza, I have a chicken biscuit, a sausage biscuit, whatever have you, whatever that is, and I get it, it feels like heroin is in my mouth. And whatever problem I just had goes away. And I feel good. Not as much as I used to, because now I instantly go to, why did I do that? Why'd you do that? Oh, no, you were doing so good. Why'd you do that? And I have to just mellow in it and own it, and own it to myself. And owning it to yourself is difficult, because it feels like you're talking to someone else. There's a part of you that wants to do the right thing, and then there's a part of you that kind of hates you and wants you to do what it wants to do. It doesn't want to be on board with your agenda to better yourself. It likes you the way you are. Maybe it doesn't hate you. Maybe it really loves you. But either way, it's not trying to do what you're trying to do. So when that side wins and you have to face it, it's difficult. And anyone who's out there who listens to this and you can relate to this, you're not alone. And I'm on this journey with you, and you're on this journey with me, and we're going to continue to move forward. We were able to record the next 3 episodes, so we will be giving you the next 3 episodes coming out regularly on time. And I feel really proud about staying on board and having you guys as part of my journey. It means a lot to me. I don't think I'll ever fully overcome emotional eating. I just think I'll become strong enough to handle the urge when it comes through. And more importantly, I'll find a better outlet to channel that need. I will find a better product to fill that void whenever it comes up to me. It's difficult. I've always been battling that. I was the type of kid that would go to a buffet and really pride myself on how many plates and how many glasses can I finish on this trip. And I would go to, in the South, we would go to like Shoney's or like a Golden Corral. And I would just be like, all right, okay, yeah, I got 3 glasses of soda. That's pretty impressive. That's a pretty impressive, bout of soda. And I got 4 plates and a dessert. Man, I really got my money's worth. Full plates of just the foods that don't go together. Like, yeah, steak and broccoli go together initially, but then you throw on like pork fried rice, pizza, French fries, olives from the salad bar. And that's kind of how I've always grown. That's how I've always maintained my mental health, was with food. And even though my mind was healthy, my body was ravished. Just bad, just not great. And I'm tired of it. I pledge to you that there won't be any more breaks in production. You will get your regularly scheduled Eat the Right Thing podcast. And by giving you your regularly scheduled Eat the Right Thing podcast, I will be on the journey. I don't want to present to you anything fake. When you hear me go through it, you hear me go through it. It's real. It's 100%. And I'm going to better myself. So hopefully someone out there can better their self. And that's what this podcast is all about, is letting you know you're not alone in this. And people may think, oh, you're fat, you should just lose weight. Well, them, they don't understand the difficulties of it. And I understand. I'm here with you. We are not alone. We're going to do this together. So before the hiatus, we were on a journey to discover the history of the African American diet. And after the break, we will speak with author and soul food scholar Adrian Miller so he can help us out and give us some insight on that. Today's episode of Eat the Right Thing is brought to you by Hungry Harvest, a farm-to-doorstep produce delivery service that brings healthy fruits and veggies directly to your home. And each and every week, they've been giving us a special delivery. So let's go ahead and check it out. So it's that time again. We got another delivery from Hungry Harvest.
You ready?
What?
Are you excited?
Very excited.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. Every delivery saves at least 10 pounds of produce from going to waste and supports the work of local hunger-solving organizations such as Phil Abundance in Philly. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, snap. Looks like we have some living mixed greens. This is probably the most colorful box.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And did you know that 20% of produce in this country goes to waste for the most ridiculous reasons? Whether it being too big or too small, Hungry Harvest is here to put those vegetables and fruits back onto your plate.
It looks like we got orange peppers.
We got some Brussels sprouts.
Ooh, we got a big thing of cauliflower.
Look at all the fruits we got going on.
Man.
Kiwis, oranges, squash, and apples. And for a limited time, Hungry Harvest is offering a $5 coupon to the Eat the Right Things listeners. That's right. Just use promo code EATRIGHT-DO-RIGHT when you sign up at hungryharvest.net/eatright. Again, that's hungryharvest.net/eatright and save $5 today. All right, now back to the show.
A lot of squash. That's awesome. What's the stir fries?